Good morning, students. Welcome back to English online classes. Today is the day 16th session, children. In the day 15th session, I was just discussing about Taro's reward. That Taro was a very good boy. He used to fulfill all his wishes of his parents. He was a very hard worker. He used to cut trees in the forest, but he was not happy with his life because to fulfill his parents' needs, he used to get very little enough of money he used to get from chopping the trees. So he thought to fulfill his parents' needs, he has to work more harder, he thought. But one day when he was sitting near the hut, a strong wind blew and suddenly the atmosphere became very cold, and his father just asked for a sack, that is the Japanese drink, children. But the sack was very expensive. He thought that he did not get enough money by cutting the trees. But the sack was very expensive. How could I buy a sack for my father? He was just thinking about that. One morning he just got up from his sleep and he went to the forest. He did not waste a bit time also. He was just cutting down the trees. Then he became very, his body became very warm, and he removed his jacket and he felt very warm. He thought, my father also would be like, he also would feel the warmness. I think my father also will feel the same warmness. And again he began to work with the wood. When he was just cutting down, what happened? Suddenly he heard the sound of the water. He was a little bit surprised because there was no water in the forest. But when he suddenly heard the sound of the water, he just went near the water. But he saw that some water was gushing onto the rocks. It was just coming down. He just left his axe on the ground and he went near that strip where that water was flowing. He just took a little. He just took some water in his hands. He just tasted it and he felt that it was not water. It was sack, he thought. But again and again he was drinking the same thing. But he felt it was not water. It was not the cold water. It was just the sack. So now I will continue the lesson, children. Keep the books in front of you. Taro quickly filled the pitcher he had with him and hurried home. Pitcher means a pot. Pitcher means a pot. He was having a pot in his hands. What did he do? He just took the pitcher and filled the sack in that pitcher. And he hurriedly went home. The old man was delighted with the sack. The old man was really very happy with the sack. After only one swallow of the liquid, he stopped shivering and did a little dance in the middle of the floor. So, what happened when this boy gave the sack to his father? He just drank a little bit of the sack with one swallow. What happened? Only one sip he has drank, and when the liquid went into his body, he felt very warm and he began to dance on the middle of the floor. That afternoon, a neighbor stopped by for a visit. Taro's father politely offered her a cup of sack. The lady drank it greedily and thanked the old man. Then Taro told her the story of the magic waterfall. So then one day what happened? One afternoon what happened? A neighbor was just passing their hut, and she Taro's father was very good and gentle man. He just offered a cup of sack to that lady. That lady was very greedy. She just drank, and after that Taro told the whole story, how he got that sack from the forest. He just told the whole story to her. And she left in a hurry. By nightfall, she had spread the story throughout the whole village. So after hearing the story, that lady went very fast and told the whole story to the rest of the villagers. That evening, there was a long procession of visitors to the woodcutter's house. Each man heard the story of the waterfall and took a sip of the sack. In less than an hour, the pitcher was empty. So when the lady went and informed this story to the whole village, the next evening, what happened? Each and every one came, like in a procession. All the people came to the Taro's house, and this poor old man was very good. He offered them with a cup of sack to everyone, and In less than an hour, the pitcher was empty. After giving the sack to everyone in the all the villagers came, so he offered them the sack to everyone. Then for an hour, what happened? The pitcher was completely empty. Next morning, Taro started for work even earlier than the morning before. He carried with him the largest pitcher he owned, for he intended first of all to go to the waterfall. So next morning, what happened? He started for work even earlier. He went to the forest a little bit earlier than before. He was carrying the pitcher, a little bit big one. But before he used to carry a small one. But today what happened? He was carrying a big pitcher. First of all, he did not go to the forest. He went to the forest, but he did not go and cut the wood. He straight away went to the waterfall. When he reached it, he found to his great surprise all his neighbors there. They were carrying pitchers, jars, buckets, anything they could find to hold the magic sack. So this poor boy, when he went when he reached that place, what happened? When he reached that waterfall, he found all the villagers there. They were having buckets, they were having big pitchers. Whatever they are having in their hands, big jars, buckets, pitchers, everything they were having to fill it up. Anything could find to hold the magic sack. Then one villager knelt and held his mouth under the waterfall to drink. So one of the villager, what he did, he went near that waterfall and he kept his mouth near that waterfall and he began to drink. He drank again and again and then shouted angrily, "Water, nothing but water." Others also tried, but there was no sack, only cold water. So when one of the villagers went near the fall and just kept his mouth near that water, when he drank that, he said very angrily, "Oh, this is not sack, this is only cold water. This is only a cold water, this is not sack." He began to shout loudly. "We have been tricked," shouted the villagers. "Where is Taro? Let us drown him in this waterfall." But Taro had been wise enough to slip behind a rock. When he saw how things were going, he was nowhere to be found. So all the villagers got very angry. This stupid boy told some stories about this magic sack, but this is not sack. It's only water. It's only cold water. Let us find that boy. We'll push that boy. We'll drown him inside this waterfall. We'll drown him inside the waterfall. But Taro was a very intelligent boy. He was just hiding behind the rocks. He was just hiding behind the rocks and just observing everyone what was happening. He was nowhere to find. They searched for him here and there, but they couldn't find him. Muttering their anger and disappointment, the villagers left the place one by one. Taro came out from his hiding place. Was it true? He wondered. So when the villagers couldn't find him, they got very angry. They muttered and they said something in their minds and they went again. They went outside. They left the place and went. Taro came out from his hiding place. Was it true? So after the villagers left the place, Taro slowly came outside because he was hiding up behind the rock, no? So he just came out and he thought, was it really true? He really wondered whether this is not a sack. Is it really cold water? He was having a doubt. Once more he caught a little liquid in his hand and put it to his lips. It was the same fine sack. So he thought, why these people are very angry and shouting at me? Let me go and test it. He just went near the waterfall and just took some took some sack from that waterfall and just drank. Then it was really sack. It was not cold water. It was the same fine sack. How he felt before, he felt now also he is feeling that it's a sack. It's not a cold water. To the thoughtful son, the magic waterfall gave the delicious sack. To everyone else, it gave only cold water. So because this boy was really a hard-working boy, so the magic sack was only a sack for this boy, not for the villagers. For the villagers, when they drank, it was cold water, but when this boy drank, it was sack. The story of Taro and his magic waterfall reached the Emperor of Japan. He sent for the young woodcutter and rewarded him with 20 pieces of gold for having been so good and kind. So the story of Taro slowly it went and reached the king of the emperor. Emperor means king. It slowly reached the king, and he was very pleased with this boy because With a small young age, he was very good towards parents. He was very thoughtful and very because whatever his parents' wishes, he used to fulfill them. And not only that, he was a very hard worker. So he was very pleased with the boy, and just he rewarded, means he just gave him 20 pieces of gold for having been so good and kind. So for having very good and kind towards his parents, the king just rewarded him 20 pieces of gold coins. Then he named the most beautiful fountain in the city after Taro. Then he named the most beautiful fountain in the city after Taro. This said the emperor was to encourage all children to honor and obey their parents. So not only giving him 20 pieces of gold coins, then he named the most beautiful fountain in the city after Taro. So he just named the beautiful fountain because he just named the fountain as Taro because he was such a kind boy. So he just he also encouraged all the children to just follow him, just to follow who? Follow Taro, because Taro was a very good boy. Even when he was a very young and small boy, he gave much. He was very good. He was very helpful to his parents in their work, and he was very hard worker. He earned his living. He never used to beg anyone. He used to earn his living. This said, the emperor was to encourage all children to honor and obey their parents. So he said this boy was an ideal boy, and he told other children to just to, because he said that this boy was an ideal boy. Just always please follow the boy who was very good to his parents. So you also should be honest and also obey your parents. So the king told that he was an ideal child. Who was an ideal child? Taro was an ideal child. He was very good and hardworking. So you all asked other people, other children to just follow him. So I hope so you all have enjoyed the lesson, children.